Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to ask Ms. Pierce to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And on your heart, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Land acknowledgement, I would like to ask Ms. Porras to read the land acknowledgement, please.
Desert Sands Unified School District Land Acknowledgement. We acknowledge that our district is on the ancestral land of the Cahuilla people, with whom we have a long-standing partnership. We are grateful for the opportunity to prepare future generations, teaching them to respect and contribute to their community and to continue the stewardship exemplified by the Cahuilla people.
Roll call will reflect that all board members and cabinet members are present. Item 8, approval of minutes. We have two items. Item 8.1, minutes of the special meeting of May 15th, 2026, and 8.2, regular meeting of May 19th, 2026. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
As a group, Porras?
Is there a second?
Second, Durant.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 9, board meeting addenda. Dr. May Vollmer.
There are none this evening.
Item 10, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda of the regular meeting of June 9th, 2026?
So moved, Pierce.
Is there a second?
Second, Durant.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 11, community, staff, and student recognition. Dr. May Vollmer.
Yes, so this is definitely one of our favorite parts of the meeting where we get to celebrate the great things happening in Desert Sands. And before we start, just a quick reminder that once you receive your recognition, to please wait for the board's comments. Afterwards, you can take photos out in the lobby and then go and celebrate with anyone that you came to if you choose to. And we ask that you kindly keep your voices low as you exit the boardroom so that the board can resume the regular business of the meeting. At this time, I'd like to invite Jim Rothblatt from Friends of the CV Link to present tonight's recognition.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me okay here?
Yeah.
All right, well, my name is Jim Rothblatt. I have our fellow board member from the nonprofit Friends of CV Link, Crystal Romero. She's going to help me here. And if I could get Henry Noah Lopez and family to come on up here, that would be nice. So I'm president of the nonprofit Friends of CV Link. We have a youth development committee, and part of that committee, we have a business plan competition where 6th through 12th grade students across the valley with all 3 school districts and the private schools can write a business plan and enter a contest where first place prize is $1,000, second place prize is $500, third place prize is $350. Well, this year we have a first place winner who happens to be Henry Noah Lopez, standing right here. We have two certificates for him, one from Desert Sands Unified School District, where I spent 27 years of my life working with you folks. The other is from our nonprofit, Friends of CV Link. And we have a check that should make his summer quite nice. We also had a second place winner from Desert Sands who couldn't be here tonight. She was a student at Palm Desert Charter Middle School. Her name was Sienna Cartal, unfortunately. So Noah only just discovered at this minute that he was a first place winner, so his position was a surprise here. So I think that's all I've got, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Given that there were 3 school districts and all the private schools, Desert Sands came through, the mighty Desert Sands, and understand that all high school students this was available to, but we had 2 middle school students, soon to be high school students, who are winners within your district.
Hi, my name is Crystal Romero. I just want to point out that this is a youth competition that we've been having since 2 years ago, last year and this year, and it's ongoing. So we're going to have this next year as well, and so that way you can keep an eye out and make sure that your students are aware, your principals, your teachers, and that way we can get more applicants and get more opportunities out for all of the students.
Thank you.
Yes.
Take your seat. Thank you. Yes, congratulations.
You? Yeah. Okay, well, there goes that. Yeah. You know what? We're going to get an opportunity for each board member to have a few comments. If you'd like to welcome them back in so we can acknowledge them. Please, if you could have them step back in so we can acknowledge them, then you can take your picture. So we'd like to give, we'll start off with Ms. Pierce as soon as they come back in. Got it. We'll go on. Yes, thank you. Okay, going on to item 12, introduction of new or recently promoted employees. We have none this evening. Board and superintendent comments. We'll start with Ms. Pierce.
Well, I wanted to say I was not aware of this, this award or this writing business plan competition, and I'd love to see what it ended up entailing, and I hope that more students next year can participate in it, but it was very impressive that our school district had the first and second place winners, and sure goes to say that we've got some, smart little entrepreneurs in our district that can come up with a business plan for this. I also wanted to wish everybody a good summer vacation and a good experience at summer school for the kids and teachers that are experiencing that, and the staff that are working through the summer as well, and thanking them for keeping our schools well maintained and getting ready for the new year. And that was about it. Thank you.
Brad?
Thank you, President Alvarez. Welcome, everybody, this evening, and I'm happy to see you all here. I, too, would like to just say that to see Jim Rothblatt again, he was a counselor here in the Student Assistance Program for many years here in Desert Sands Unified School District, and probably one of the first individuals I met when I came to work here in Desert Sands back in 1993. But kudos to Henry Noah Lopez and Sienna Cordell on their award-winning efforts there for the CB Link, and also to Ms. Romero and, again, Jim Rothblatt for coming out here to honor and support our students here in Desert Sands. I'd just like to say, too, that everybody have a safe and sane summer. You got 4th of July coming around here soon, so let's all celebrate and be safe. Secondly, I want to just say that I did attend all the high school graduations. All of them were incredibly well orchestrated and participated in. It is the accumulation of a lot of hard work, mostly by the students and the staff who have come to honor them in that moment in time when they make that transition into the next chapter of their lives. So I wanted to say that it is one of the greatest honors that we do have, to be up there and see them graduate and hand them their certificate of diploma. Lastly, you always once in a while use this time to remind people in the summer, if you're bored, you can give blood or platelets. I do. I mean, it is what it is, but at the end of the day, folks, people need it. And it's that time, and if you're sitting there and it's a time to teach, it's a time to love, it's a time to care about your fellow neighbor. And I've done it for many, many years. I give platelets because when You walk in and you look a certain way, right? They look, and that's the platelet guy right there. He can give a lot, move him to the side. But it's a really rewarding, I feel, event that you can do in your life, and I try to do it as often as I can. So thanks everybody this evening for coming and joining us, and I look forward to a summer of rest, relaxation, and get ready again for the 26-27 school year. Thank you.
Horace?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Henry and Sienna for their first and second awards for CV Link. I haven't gone to CV Link yet, but I'd love to try it. I see it all the time, but I think it'd be awesome to do. But I'd love to hear what their business plan was. So, and also I did attend all the high school graduations, and they were amazing. Shadow Hills had the first drone show, which was incredible. It was so different from the fireworks, but fireworks are cool, but the drone show was pretty impressive. So, but anyway, just have a safe summer out there, everybody, and look forward to seeing you in August.
I did not attend all the graduations, but I attended most of them. I want to thank all of the staff that was behind the scenes of the graduation, the grounds crew, the custodians, the security guards, everybody for putting on amazing graduations. I also want to acknowledge and thank all of the elected officials that came out to support our students. So thank you.
I'm going to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. To our recipient this evening who got a $1,000 check, that's pretty awesome. And also just for the effort they put into that. And the graduations were very memorable this year. It was great to see that new drone show coming up and seeing what's going to take place in the future at that school. So looking forward to that. And there are many things that are occurring behind the scenes, and just echoing Dr. Watson's statement of thank you to those who not only do it during graduations, but during the school year to make things happen. So best of luck during the summer, and take this time to enjoy some family time. So thank you, Dr. May-Vollmer.
Yes, I want to just also congratulate the two students, Henry and Sienna. That's pretty amazing that they're middle school students and they won. And I think especially that they're from Palm Desert Charter, that made it pretty special tonight, so that at least Sienna's from Palm Desert Charter. Also, there definitely is so much work that goes on behind the scenes, and appreciate that so much, so I want to echo that sentiment. And then I just want to take the opportunity tonight, we have the Palm Desert Charter renewal on the agenda this evening, and so I just want to take the opportunity to say how proud we are of the entire Palm Desert Charter community. There, you have amazing staff, incredible students, amazing families, and so just appreciate so much all the hard work of every staff member and what you do for students every day. So thank you.
So we did have an opportunity to acknowledge our student who's coming back into the room for their work with this business plan for CV Link. So we want to let the family know that each board member had an opportunity to show their appreciation and share their compliments towards the student. So at this time, it would be a good opportunity for you to enjoy some family time. If you'd like to, you're welcome to stay for the meeting, but we do want to share that we had an opportunity to share comments about how proud we are of your efforts, sir. So thank you very much for your work in this contest. So at this time, you're welcome to stay for the next 2 hours. Right. Or you're welcome to enjoy family time. But each of us did share, some great comments about you guys. So
I just wanted to add, Edward, we were really amazed that as a middle school student, you won first prize. Henry? I thought it was Edward Lopez. Edward Noah. Henry. Okay, my hearing, sorry. Mr. Lopez. I'm just very impressed with your ability to write the business plan, and I'd love to see what it entailed. But yeah, we said all these great things about you, but we can give you an applause right now.
Yes. Woo! All right. Anyone else want to say any comments before I continue? We're good? Okay. All right, moving on to item 16, public comments on open session items. In accordance with Board Bylaw 9323, Time is reserved during Board of Education meetings for public comment. Members of the public are invited to address the Board of Education in person during meetings on any item on the agenda or on any matter within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes, with a total of 20 minutes allotted per item, including non-agenda items. Speakers are not permitted to cede or donate their time to others. The board president, with the concurrence of the board, may extend this time as needed in accordance with Board Bylaw 9323.2 and the Brown Act. The board may not discuss or take action on any item that is not listed on the posted agenda. Please be advised that there is a possibility that some items discussed during public comment will not be developmentally appropriate for minors. We ask that parents use their discretion when choosing to remain in the boardroom during public comment. If you choose to leave the room, you may wait in the overflow location at the end of the hallway, and you will be notified when public comments have concluded. We do have some comments. I'll first be reading some comments that were emailed to us. So, from Erica Baeza. Subject is Corey Fitzpatrick transfer. I am writing to ask you to please reconsider transferring Corey Fitzpatrick. Moving him is a huge loss for PDCMS, and it sends a deeply intimidating message to the rest of the staff. Corey is an incredible teacher. Having worked with him in his math class, I've seen firsthand how great he is. Both of my sons went through Corey's class and were incredibly well prepared for the 8th grade, which is exactly what I expected given his mathematical skills. On top of that, he's always stepping up and volunteering his time as both a teacher and a parent. Because he is smart, quick on his feet, and really knows our school, Corey often speaks up to ask the questions the rest of us want answered. All he has ever wanted is what we all want: consistency, support, and follow through. Instead, speaking up has caused his current situation. Honestly, even writing this letter right now feels intimidating given the circumstances. But it really shouldn't be that way. Forcing out a great teacher for voicing shared concerns makes the rest of us feel like honesty will just lead to blowback. Corey belongs at PDCMS. Please reconsider this decision and show us that speaking up isn't a punishable offense. Megan Panko, involuntary transfer. Dear members of the DSUSD School Board, I am writing to respectfully ask that you reconsider the involuntary transfer of Corey Fitzpatrick from Palm Desert Charter Middle School. Corey is a vital component of the PDCMS community. Throughout the years, he has consistently gone above and beyond the expectations of his role, volunteering his time and making himself available whenever there is a need on campus. Whether supporting school events, assisting colleagues, or helping students, Corey is a constant and positive presence. I've had the privilege of co-teaching with Corey for the past several years, and I have seen firsthand the meaningful relationships he builds with students. He creates an environment where students feel valued, supported, and motivated to succeed. His ability to connect with young people is exceptional, and those connections have a lasting impact on both their academic and personal growth. In addition to his dedication to students, Corey has always been a voice for staff members when others felt too intimidated to speak up or ask important questions. He advocates professionally and respectfully for both students and colleagues, helping to ensure that concerns are heard and addressed. His willingness to support others and foster open communication has made him an invaluable member of our school community. Thank you for your time and consideration of this request. Respectfully, Megan Panko. Okay, Sarit and Monica Rodriguez.
Good evening, President Alvarez, the board, and Dr. May Volmar, and cabinet. As you know, I'm the proud principal at Palm Desert High School, but I'm here tonight with my colleague, Mrs. Rodriguez from Indio High, and representing all of the principals at all of the high schools, Mr. Pimentel, Dr. Dunn, Mr. O'Mara, and Mr. Garcia. We wanted to take a moment to recognize the extraordinary district-wide effort from our classified departments that made graduation possible for thousands of students and families across Desert Sands. Graduation is often viewed as just a single evening ceremony and celebration, but behind every ceremony was an army of dedicated employees whose work made those moments possible and for many unforgettable. We want to begin by recognizing our security staff services teams. Many of our security agents, as you know, worked long hours leading up to each graduation ceremony, sometimes including round the clock and during the day at school, and still showed up to support all graduations and their ceremonies. Our lead staff agents, as you know, worked with law enforcement, police departments, sheriffs, fire marshals, to ensure that every single one of our events was safe, secure for students, staff, and families. So thank you to our security services. We also want to thank our nutrition services team. Their staff really supported all of our receptions, hospitality, for the events for our dignitaries, personnel, staff members, and families. And guests, many stayed well beyond their contracted hours to prepare those meals and prepare those events, as well as participate and facilitate our graduation activities. Our warehouse, transportation, and logistics teams worked tirelessly behind the scenes, as you mentioned, to make sure that and coordinate equipment, stages, generators, deliveries, transportation. They ensured that everything arrived where it needed to be, from programs, food items, caps, gowns, regalia, tickets, programs. And they did it all with such grace. They helped transport our seniors from their elementary schools and middle schools so that we can inspire, our graduates can inspire the next generation of students to see themselves as portraits of a graduate and see themselves, as part of graduation as part of their future. We wanted to recognize the custodial, maintenance and operations, grounds, and technology teams because their work included field preparation, touch-ups on painting, irrigation adjustments, stadium setups, generators, sound systems, live streaming, technology, lighting systems, backup power plants. I want to give a special significant shout out to Mr. Jeffrey Porras, who really supported a significant backup safety plan at our site when we had to adjust for weather and wind. And honestly, the teams were absolutely incredible, I'm sure, at all of our sites. Because of their efforts, thousands of family members were able to celebrate these milestones both, in person and online. There's a few more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can we keep going?
You want to do a second form, 3 minutes?
Yes. Thank you. As important as logistics are, graduation is ultimately about people. And there are many individuals whose contributions deserve special recognition. We want to thank our school, office, and clerical staff, many of whom volunteered beyond their regular responsibilities to serve as ticket takers, check-in staff, runners, reception hosts, and problem solvers throughout the evening while we were on stage. Their calm presence and willingness to do whatever was needed helped the ceremonies run smoothly. We also want to recognize our graphics department. Time and again, they responded to last-minute requests, printing updates, tickets, directional signs, parking information, banners, and stadium materials, often on very short notice and always with professionalism. Our risk management team also played a critical role coordinating contracts, safety plans, firework displays, whether they went off or not in the end, drone displays, emergency medical services, and all of the details necessary to ensure safe celebrations for our graduates and their families. And finally, we would like to recognize a group that embodies the very heart of public education, our paraeducators. As educators, we believe that every student deserves the opportunity to participate in life's most important milestones. And they stood alongside students throughout graduation, providing one-on-one support, interpreting, assisting students with mobility challenges, supporting medical fragile students, helping students who are blind and ensuring that students with unique learning and medical or physical needs could participate with dignity and pride. To every department and every employee who contributed to graduation season, please accept our deepest gratitude. These celebrations are a reflection of what makes Desert Sands special. A community of professionals who come together to ensure that every student is seen, supported, and celebrated. And last but most certainly not least, we would like to thank all of you sitting up here tonight for being visible throughout the graduation season, for your support and encouragement throughout the entire time, for showing up for our students and for our communities. Thank you.
Angela Cepeda.
Good evening, board members. This gives me a little bit of hope. Board priorities, academic proficiency, future focus, welcoming, and supportive environments. My name is Angela Cepeda. I am the parent of a student in Desert Sands Unified School District. I'm here tonight because my daughter, Audrina, has documented dyslexia and is entering her sophomore year of high school, reading at only a third grade reading level. For years, I have trusted that the district would provide the support necessary to help her make meaningful academic progress. Yet despite her hard work, she has not shown improvement in reading since 2020. For example, this year, through her eye-ready diagnostics, again, she scored at a third grade reading level. What makes this especially difficult is that Audrina is not a student who has given up. She is a 3-sport varsity athlete, maintains her responsibilities, and dreams of attending a university one day. She is doing everything we ask our students to do. On May 7th, I reached out to district staff, specifically school staff, requesting proactive solution that would allow Audrina to take summer coursework and spread out her academic workload. This is not a request for acceleration or special treatment. It was a request based on her disability, related needs, and her long-standing academic challenges. After weeks of communication, I was informed that the request was denied because she does not meet the district's criteria for outside coursework. Specifically, she has not failed a class, earned a D, or experienced a scheduling conflict. That response raises an important question. Why are we waiting for students with disabilities to fail before we consider proactive supports? As a parent, I'm not asking the district to lower standards. I am asking the district to recognize the student's needs before her GPA suffers, before opportunities are lost, and before the emotional toll becomes even greater. And if you cannot hear it in my voice, it's already hard. Students with disabilities should not have to prove they're failing before they receive meaningful support. I respectfully ask the board to examine whether our current policies encourage intervention after academic harm has occurred, rather than supporting students before they reach that point. Thank you for your time. I feel like I have hit a brick wall. Please help me. What can I do? Who can I contact to get this approved? I did CC the superintendent, and I'm sending another email to the assistant superintendent, but I'll take the last 30 seconds to just explain this. In the last month, my daughter and I have had stayed up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, almost every single night. Wake up early. She wakes me up early. Mom, I need help. I need to finish this assignment. It's overwhelming. It's exhausting, and it's unsustainable. Look her up, Audrina Salter. She's a star athlete at La Quinta High School. But she deserves a good academic support. Thank you.
Corey Fitzpatrick.
Good evening. My name is Corey Fitzpatrick, and for the last 21 years, I've served Palm Desert Charter Middle School, Desert Sands Unified School District, and the community at large. I want to paint a picture that I live today. I went to PDS-CMS, and as I passed my mailbox, my name was gone. After 21 years of service, I was erased without board approval. This brings me to why I'm here tonight, to ask the board to defer ratification of my voluntary transfer. The reason given for this transfer, and I will quote, is strained relationships. I want this board to sit with that phrase for a moment. After 21 years of service with all positive evaluations, being part of the leadership team at my school, after building relationships with students, family, and staff that took 2 decades to earn, the justification ordered for removing me is strained relations. This is not an ed code. This is a characterization made by the same administrator who is simultaneously overseeing a disciplinary proceeding. And this board deserves to know that before voting tonight. Let me ask you, how does the district claim strained relationships while simultaneously failing to provide support for that teacher? I've asked administration for support. Some has been denied outright. Some has been promised and never delivered. I've gone the last 2 years without the required teacher evaluations. I've been promised administrative walkthroughs for the last 2 months of school, and yet it's never happened, not once. You cannot withhold support, neglect evaluation obligations, and then cite the teacher for reminding you that you failed your obligations as grounds for the transfer. If there is a relationship strained, I ask the board, who is responsible for maintaining it? Furthermore, my daughter is about to start her last year at PDCMS. I will not be there for that. This is not a policy abstraction. This is my family. My wife also teaches at the school. This transfer doesn't only move my classroom assignment. It removes me from my professional home, my school community, and my daughter's most important year of middle school. I'll lose my place of leadership, my 21 years of professional standing. I simply can't pack that up and take it with me to the other side of the valley. And I want to name something larger that the board should consider. When a teacher who is race concerned is involuntary transfer, every other teacher in the district receives a message: speak up, get moved. Before my time runs out, I'm going to ask for more time from the board president.
Sir, no, you'll have 3 minutes, and we have other members on the same topic, so we'll hear through them.
Noted, thank you. So I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm asking you to hold off on the decision and do an independent investigation and look into these matters fully with evidence.
Trick.
Good evening, board members. My name is Kelly Fitzpatrick. I am speaking tonight as both a teacher in this district and as the wife of Corey Fitzpatrick, a teacher who has dedicated 21 years of his career to Desert Sands, all of them at the same school site. Tonight, I'm asking you to look beyond one transfer and consider what message this decision sends to every employee in the district. What concerns me most is that the outcome appears to have already been decided. Before board approval has occurred, plans have been put in motion for Corey's departure. Staff have been informed, transitions have begun, and a welcome email from the receiving school was sent almost immediately after he received notice. For employees watching this process unfold, it creates the impression that decisions are being implemented before the board has even had the opportunity to review and act. After 21 years of service, Corey is expected to leave the school community he helped build without the opportunity to properly say goodbye to students, families, colleagues, and friends. His removal creates a vacuum that will inevitably be filled by rumors and speculation, placing his reputation at risk while he is expected to remain silent. Throughout this school year, Corey repeatedly raised concerns about student discipline, campus supervision, and school safety. Those concerns were not theoretical. They were based on what teachers were witnessing every day and on a belief that proactive supervision helps prevent serious incidents before they occur. Teachers should never feel that raising concerns about discipline, student safety, or campus operations could place their careers in jeopardy. I'm also concerned by what appears to be inconsistent treatment of employee complaints and investigations. Earlier this year, I filed formal complaints involving some of the same individuals connected to many of these events. Those complaints were deemed inconclusive after denials were provided and not a single witness was interviewed. Yet when complaints were made against Corey, an outside investigator was retained and dozens of witnesses were interviewed. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for equal treatment. When one complaint receives extensive investigation while another appears to end after denial, employees begin to question whether all concerns are being evaluated using the same standards. Whether intentional or not, that perception damages trust and discourages employees from speaking openly when they have concerns. What makes this especially difficult is that Corey has never been the type of teacher who simply shows up for a paycheck and goes home. For 21 years, he has invested himself in this community. He volunteers his time, attends school events, coaches students, supports activities outside the classroom, and makes himself available long after the school day ends. Whether it's helping a struggling student, answering a math question late at night, or supporting colleagues and families, he has consistently gone above and beyond because he genuinely cares about the success of students in this community. The measure of an educator is not found in a single complaint or a single investigation. It is found in the thousands of interactions, relationships, and lives that impact over the course of a career. My family has been a part of this district since 1989. I attended school here. I teach here. Our children attended school here. Keely will be teaching here. Our youngest daughter is finishing up going into 8th grade and finishing up middle school with us. This is about more than a transfer. It is about trust. It is about fairness. It is about whether employees can raise concerns about fear of consequences. And it is also about process. The board is entrusted with making important decisions on behalf of this district. Yet from the perspective of employees watching this unfold, this transfer already appears to be moving forward before the board has had the opportunity to review and act. If the board's approval is required, then employees should have confidence that the board's review is meaningful and that the outcome has not already been decided. I respectfully ask you tonight to exercise the independent judgment entrusted to you to carefully review this recommendation and to consider whether it truly reflects the values of transparency, consistency, fairness, and support that this district claims to have. Thank you.
Wendy Hammond.
Good evening. My name is Wendy Hammond. I've been working for the district for 20 years, and I've known Corey Fitzpatrick for 16 years. And I'm here to speak on his behalf and also on behalf of other friends and teachers in the district that I have communicated with. If you involuntarily transfer Mr. Fitzpatrick, you'll be making a mistake. Such a move would amount to putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm. It may appear to be the simplest solution, but it will only deepen the divide that already exists within our district. Perhaps the board and the superintendent, being somewhat removed from the day-to-day experiences of classroom teachers, are unaware of how educators are often treated during investigations. Teachers are removed from their classrooms and escorted off campus in front of students and colleagues. We are given no explanation of the allegations against us, and we are instructed not to speak to anyone connected to the district or set foot on district property, even when we have students and children attending schools in our district. In some cases, weeks pass before we are even informed of the nature of the complaint. When meetings finally occur, many teachers are left with the impression that the investigation has already been completed and conclusions have already been reached. When we provide the names of witnesses who would corroborate our account, those individuals are sometimes never even contacted. The process can feel less like an impartial investigation and more like a presumption of guilt. The message many teachers have received is that our rights and voices are of low priority and we are ultimately expendable. Some educators have even been advised that if they simply resign or retire, that the matter will just go away. Yet it does not. Reports are still made to the Credentialing Commission, placing teaching credentials and careers built over decades at risk. Some teachers have been forced to hire attorneys simply to protect their professional teaching credentials. This is the divide that many educators are talking about, the growing disconnect between upper administration and the classroom teachers who show up every day to serve students. These teachers work tirelessly to support children who come to school carrying a wide range of academic, emotional, and personal challenges. They deserve a process that is fair, transparent, and respectful of their rights. Transferring Mr. Fitzpatrick will not solve these concerns. It may address an immediate controversy, but it will do nothing to repair the underlying lack of trust. In fact, it's likely to reinforce the belief that district leadership is more focused on appearances than on addressing the deeper issues that have led so many teachers to feel unheard and unsupported. Thank you.
Jennifer Velez.
Thank you, board members. My name is Jennifer. I have a 7-year-old. I'm going to cry already, and I just got up here. I have a 7-year-old child at Benjamin Franklin Elementary. I reviewed your LCAP accountability plan, and goal number 3 especially stood out for me. ensure safe, respectful learning environments, in addition to your mission, which is to inspire and nurture every student. Tonight, I am here to tell you that for my LGBTQIA+ student child, that mission is a death warrant dressed up in nice words. Because you invite kids like mine in, you encourage gender support plans, you tell them they are safe, but the second that identity is attacked repeatedly by a group of children over an entire school year, your principals do nothing about it, and they look away. This was not one bad day, this was a campaign. Over this school year, a group of children have systematically targeted my child. They have told my child directly that they wish my child were dead. They made TikTok videos mocking my child without consent. One child told my 7-year-old in front of others that I was going to go to jail for letting them be themselves. That is not childhood teasing. That is targeted harassment based on gender identity. And the physical violence has escalated. My child has been physically assaulted multiple times. The school did not inform me after any of the incidents. Adults on campus have even joined in on the bullying behavior. Then, 2 weeks ago, my child was held against a metal play structure and beaten in the head 4 times. No adult intervened. My child said, "Mommy, all of the children were terrified. It was the scariest moment of my life." The principal, Dr. Grass, he lied to me on the phone, wrote a different story in email when I requested it in writing, said there was a video, then refused to let me see it, violating my child's FERPA law. I have sent 14 emails to Dr. Grass. He has ignored every single one. I looped in Title IX Director, Dr. McCall. She did nothing except complain to me about the principal. Under California Education Code Section 234.1, the Safe Place to Learn Act, you are required to protect students from discriminatory bullying. Under Title IX, this pattern of ignored emails and escalating violence is deliberate indifference. That is illegal. Your principal is not just failing my child, he is actively, knowingly violating federal rights. In March, my child, my 7-year-old, attempted suicide. They said to me, "I thought it would be better if I was dead, so it would all go away." No mother should ever have to save her own child. And no child, especially not a 7-year-old, LGBTQI+ student who trusted you to protect them, should experience a year of death wishes, public humiliation, physical beatings, and a principal who refuses to even reply to an email. So I am here publicly to demand, 1, a formal investigation into Principal Grass and a reassessment about his ability to lead educators and students while actively violating students' federal rights and perpetuating harm. 2, a formal investigation into Dr. McCall, and she be moved to a better suited position. Her commitment to corroborating Dr. Grass' behavior in public, but identifying and naming harm he perpetuates behind closed doors, is dangerous.
Thank you, ma'am. Amy Ebby?
Good evening, board members. My name is Amy Eby. I teach 7th grade humanities and as well as English language development for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at Palm Desert Charter Middle School. I'm here to speak on behalf of Corey Fitzpatrick and his involuntary transfer. Before I begin, I respectfully ask that Corey's involuntary transfer be considered separately rather than approved as part of a group of routine items so that it is given the attention it deserves. A decision affecting a teacher who has devoted 21 years to our school deserves individual discussion and thoughtful consideration. During Corey's administrative leave this year, he was unable to publicly address the situation, and in that absence of information, rumors, horrible rumors, and speculation spread through social media and among students. It was very difficult to see how quickly perception can form without full context. The Corey I know is someone who is direct and honest and who speaks up when he believes something matters. But he is also someone who deeply cares about students, colleagues, and this school community. I am here tonight in multiple roles. I am a teacher and I am also a parent. My daughter was one of Corey's students this year. Last year she struggled with math and had lost confidence in herself. This year, under Corey's instruction, I watched her confidence return. She became willing to participate again, take risks, and believe she could be successful in math. As both a teacher and a parent, I know that great teachers do more than teach content. They help students believe in themselves. Corey has done that for my daughter and for many students over his 21 years at PDCMS. Many staff members are concerned about the message this action sends regarding speaking up on behalf of others. Schools are strongest when educators feel they can raise concerns, ask questions, and advocate for students and colleagues without fear. And school leaders, such as yourselves, are strongest when they welcome honest questions as well as differing viewpoints. From an employee's perspective, the perception many are left with is that the person who is most willing to raise concerns and speak up for others is now the person being removed from our campus. Whether that perception is accurate or not, it is the perception that is circulating and affecting staff morale. That is not the culture I want for our school and is not consistent with the idea that DSUSD is a family. Families are strongest when people can speak honestly, disagree respectfully, and still feel valued and heard. I can only speak for myself, and for me, supporting a valued colleague is too important to remain silent. I would be here for Corey as I would be here for any other member of our staff that is here tonight, whom I believe deserve support and a fair hearing. Again, I respectfully ask that Corey's involuntary transfer be considered separately by you all, rather than approved as part of a group of routine items and given the attention it deserves. Thank you for your time.
Item 13, information, no items. Going on to staff conference items. 16.1, local control and accountability plan presentation. Dr. Wood.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'd like to invite our LCAP coordinator, Brooke Triplett, up to the dais to present our local control and accountability plan for 26-27.
Good evening, board members, Board President Mr. Alvarez, Cabinet, and Superintendent May Vollmer. It's my pleasure tonight to be here to present the draft of the Local Control and Accountability Plan for 26-27. As a refresher for those in the room or who may be listening at home to this presentation, the LCAP is the Local Control and Accountability Plan that explains how funds from the state are being used in this district to increase the success of our students. The state funds discussed as part of the LCAP are not the only source of funding for the district, but it is funding that is provided by the state to specifically address opportunity gaps that have existed for student groups that have historically been underserved, our low-income English learners and foster youth students. It's a plan that is created and progress monitored over a 3-year cycle. The district goals for the 24-27 cycle include 3 district-wide goals. Goal number 1, all students will demonstrate growth as measured by federal, state, and district assessments. Goal number 2, all students will graduate and be prepared to make a successful transition to further education and/or career opportunities. And goal number 3, all students will develop and consistently demonstrate responsible, respectful, and ethical behavior in a safe, clean, and orderly learning environment. The LCAP strategically ensures alignment to the board priorities to ensure that there is a clear through line for our actions. Board priority 1, which is academic proficiency, is directly aligned with LCAP goal 1. Board priority 2, future focused, is directly aligned with LCAP goal number 2. And board priority 3, welcoming and supportive environments, is directly aligned with LCAP goal number 3. This ensures that funding is consistent with messaging and ensures accountability and transparency to our board as well as our educational partners. We measure goals in the LCAP through intentional alignment from the district to the required 8 state priorities. Student achievement is measured in Desert Sands through the use of dashboard data. Dashboard indicators include English language arts, math, English learner progress, graduation rate, college and career indicator, suspension, and chronic absenteeism. DSUSD also utilizes local assessments as part of the other student outcomes. Progress monitoring tools such as iReady and Dibbles, as well as other district benchmarks, allows us to see how students are doing throughout the year and whether strategies and actions are having the desired effect. Basic services such as facilities and clean spaces, as well as access to Common Core state standards and grade level materials, and access to a broad curriculum which ensures that students receive a well-rounded education, are all measured through a variety of reports. Desert Stands utilizes the Williams reports as well as the state-provided self-reflection tools for local indicators, which Dr. O'Neill has shared in a recent board presentation. Lastly, and of very high importance to us at Desert Sands, is the feedback we receive from our educational partners, which helps us measure school climate, student engagement, and parental involvement. We offer 2 major surveys over the course of the year, the Thought Exchange and the Panorama. Additionally, we gather input from parent advisory committees, student interviews, Coffee with Kelly, and our family nights, which are put on from various departments throughout the year. The development of our 26-27 LCAP began with a deep dive into the 24-25 dashboard data. We had some areas to celebrate in our dashboard data this year. Suspension rate, graduation rate, and college and career all showed a green performance level. The suspension rate for our district declined and is currently at 3.4% overall. The graduation rate held steady at 93.7%, which is 5.9% above the state average. And our CCI increased by 4.5% from the prior year, indicating 56.4% of students are prepared. Dashboard data also indicated some areas of need for us to examine. While chronic absenteeism did decline, which is good, and math did increase, which is also good, they are both still in the orange performance indicator, which means that while we are seeing things move in the right direction, these are areas that need more support, especially for our low-income English learners and foster youth students. We also looked at what the Thought Exchange and Panorama surveys were telling us. Thought Exchange feedback was gathered from educational partners, which included parents, guardians, community members, teachers, administration, staff. Honestly, anybody who had the link could take the survey, and we encouraged that. An additional survey was also given to just principals and assistant principals to determine what their greatest desires, wishes, and needs were specifically for their school sites. Educational partner feedback responses were categorized based on similar themes. Based on that particular survey, educational partner feedback indicated that class size was the #1 concern. This was followed by behavioral management, and there was a 3-way tie for the #3 spot between school safety, special education resources, and teacher support. Feedback from our principals and assistant principals highlighted the continued request for funding of staff for academic interventions, behavioral interventions, and English language support. Overall, Thought Exchange data highlighted the need for teacher supports, specifically with behaviors in the classroom, and intervention and student supports for academics, especially for English learners and students with disabilities. Panorama data was also reviewed. Panorama is given in order to get a pulse on school climate, sense of belonging, sense of student connectedness, and engagement. Highlights from the 2 student Panorama surveys indicated an increase in all indicators in all grades in teacher-student relationships, sense of belonging, school climate, engagement, and school safety for students. Staff Panorama results revealed the greatest increase was in staff-family relationships, and there was a very high favorability score in teacher efficacy. Lastly, the family survey saw a huge increase in participation this year, and families reported an 80% or higher favorability score in family efficacy, school climate, and school safety. This highlights the positive effects that our MTSS systems have had on schools, both in terms of supporting students from a Tier 1 level, but also building the Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports around the conditions for learning in our schools. I also attended as many parent advisory committee meetings as possible. They were all extremely gracious with their time, and they were also very gracious with their feedback. Overall, I presented at 15 different meetings over the course of this year. And what I would like to highlight from our parent advisory committees is that they all advocated for increased academic support and interventions, specifically ones that can happen during the school day. And they all advocated for increased behavioral support with clear and consistent consequences, specifically for classroom disruptions, bullying, and hate speech. Additionally, we gathered student feedback from students in grades 6 through 12. The big takeaways from the students were that they really preferred to learn through hands-on, interactive, and collaborative instruction. They mentioned that the classes they were most engaged in were oftentimes the electives, leadership, and CTE because they were the most hands-on, they had a voice in their learning, and they ultimately created more engagement and sense of belonging. Safety, bullying, and hate speech were major concerns for them, and they wanted to see it better addressed on their campuses. And lastly, they really emphasized that relationships with their teachers and the adults on campus mattered deeply to them, and that those relationships were often strong motivators for their learning. Their feedback further emphasized the importance of sense of belonging and strong conditions for learning. All of this data and feedback was then brought to the LCAP Advisory Committee. The LCAP Advisory Committee is comprised of 66 individuals who are parents, community members, bargaining unit presidents, board members, teachers, district personnel, district directors, district assistant superintendents, and the superintendent herself. Their purpose is to engage in meaningful dialogue around what matters most, our students' success. This group offers suggestions for the development and refinement of the LCAP. Our LCAP advisory met 3 times this year. Ultimately, they took all the feedback and data and narrowed it down into a top 5 list of suggestions. They felt that these priorities best represented what the district could refine and implement within the current LCAP that would have the greatest amount of impact for our students. Each of these priorities was accompanied with a clear summary of what that overarching priority meant, as well as specific steps to take for further reflection, research, and implementation. Sorry, I forgot to change the slide. The top 5 priorities were then taken to district leadership for review. The list of priorities were reviewed first by the LCAP Design and Development Team, which is comprised of 26 different leaders within our district from different departments. Their purpose is to analyze the goals and actions within the LCAP, allocate the resources, and progress monitor for effectiveness. LCAP Design and Development analyzed whether the top 5 priorities recommended from the LCAP advisory met the criteria necessary to move them forward for consideration. They asked a series of questions to ensure coherence and alignment between the priorities and the district's mission, vision, portrait of a graduate, board priorities, and LCAP goals. Ultimately, they determined that the suggested priorities should be moved forward. The top 5 priorities were then brought to each of the different departments within Desert Sands. Ultimately, collaboration among departments determined what needed to be added, changed, or removed from the actions within the 26-27 LCAP. The 26-27 LCAP has been refined and adjusted to ensure all of the process we went through was reflected in the document. This is our 26-27 LCAP plan to support our most underserved student populations, our low income, our English learners, and our foster youth, which ultimately benefits all students in our district. Goal 1 focuses on academic achievement. For 26-27, DSUSD will continue its commitment to focus on early literacy. Additionally, based on data and feedback, we will be prioritizing math and the use of the district-adopted textbooks. Professional development will focus on district-adopted curriculum as the foundation with district-wide strategies for English learners and students with disabilities embedded into every training. And to respond to the need for more proactive academic supports and interventions, we are beginning to implement systems of academic intervention across elementary, middle, and high school. Additional highlights include a focus to include more hands-on learning, consistent progress monitoring, and additional teacher support in the way of coaching and job-embedded trainings. Goal 2, which focuses on students being prepared to make a successful transition to further education or career opportunities, is an area of strength for Desert Sands. With high graduation rates, access to AP, IB, dual enrollment, and CTE pathways, as well as innovative new technology, the actions within this goal highlight the continued focus and commitment of our students becoming prepared for post-high school careers in college and technologically savvy in our changing world. And finally, Goal 3, which is focused on our climate and culture and the overall well-being of our students, as measured by our suspension rate, chronic absenteeism rate, and panorama data. Through the LCAP actions, Desert Sands will continue its commitment to student mental health by providing for mental health therapists, SAP counselors, and counselors at all schools in the district. Furthermore, LCAP Actions will continue our commitment to safety by providing for partnerships with law enforcement, ensuring all school sites have security staffing and site monitors, and providing for additional assistant principals. In addition, based on data and educational partner feedback, the 26-27 LCAP will also include a priority focus on chronic absenteeism, which will be supported by school site plans and embedded into the MTSS and PBIS systems currently supporting school sites. Next year, training will begin for all schools to participate in cultural competency training in order to promote a greater sense of belonging and inclusivity for all student groups. Along with that, proactive lessons and initiatives to specifically address bullying and hate speech will be developed for all grade levels that are developmentally appropriate. And lastly, to address the behavior management concerns from our educational partners, all sites will be trained in Mindset Foundations, which is a program designed to foster a culture and climate of trust and teach strategies aimed at managing oppositional or defiant behaviors. Just a few more requirements to get through for the LCAP. Desert Sands was called out this year for differentiated assistance for two groups, our long-term English learners and our African American students. This is because they have red indicators in multiple areas. You guys are welcome to review the actions at your leisure, but just to note that the areas of need were addressed through a process as well. The English Learner and African American Parent Advisory Committees were both involved throughout the year in a data review, a root cause analysis, and a needs analysis. Their input and suggestions were brought to the LCAP advisory, and design and development and actions were updated to ensure that long-term English learners and African American student groups were prioritized. Additionally, LCAP requires the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, also known as LREBG, to be listed with the LCAP actions. Although these are separate funds and the actions are identified through a separate needs analysis, they do align to the LCAP and board priorities. A last requirement included in the LCAP are the equity multiplier goals, goals 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have 4 schools within Desert Sands that have been identified to receive additional funding from the state. They received this funding based on their non-stability rate being greater than 25%, which means that the movement of students into and out of the schools is high, and their socioeconomically disadvantaged pupil rate being greater than 70%, which means they have a high population of low-income families. The state recognizes that these barriers require additional funds in order to support these students. Equity multiplier goals are written as part of the LCAP, but the goals and actions are based on a 1-year cycle only, and they are a direct result of a needs-based analysis that was conducted for just that particular school site. In closing, I would like to acknowledge and sincerely thank the parents of our families that participated in the various parent advisory committees, the LCAP advisory committee, the design and development team, and all the departments and people I worked with this year on the development of this LCAP. It's because of their tireless effort and their passion and their care to ensure that all voices were solicited and heard that we were able to address everything to the best of our ability. I would also like to sincerely thank the cabinet and board for your time and patience tonight. Do you guys have any questions?
Start with Ms. Pierce.
Well, I appreciate your report. It was easy to follow because you outlined all the different input that you had and showed that there were a lot of people involved in coming up with how our progress, our achievements and our needs are still going to be met as you change the plan for the next year. I also like that more people participated in the surveys, and so because when you look at 26 or 25,000 students and that many families, you hope to see the number going up, up, and up. So the more that do, we get real honest feedback. And our parent advisory committees have grown in their participation. So the willingness to schedule them at times that families can come is also helping. I just acknowledge that we've made progress and that we're targeting our needs areas. And I believe that we're on a good path, and I appreciate you outlining it for us to be able to focus on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to echo that. Thank you again for a very very intense or very comprehensive report here, a lot of data here to look at. But I want to talk about like the math part where you said there was a focus on math. Is there a particular age group that we're looking at targeting in math? I mean, I'm just curious.
We're looking district-wide, K through 12. There was a new textbook adoption this year for elementary and in prior years for middle school. But the need is for K through 12.
Okay, thank you. And then I like the particular part where there were mentors, for targeted student populations. And, mentorship is something that, honestly, it never dies. I think I said earlier in the meeting, I had a mentor here for me. And it just never dies. And I'm really, I'm glad to see it mentioned in the report. And it'd be a particular area of, how would I say, just that I'd like to follow, because I think mentors are kind of like a lot of times like when you're looking for a friend, maybe, the first one you think, oh, I really like this person, and it doesn't work. And I hope that we have that ability to not only introduce students to mentors, but grow our mentors so that they can be better suited to meet the needs of our students too. So any way I could ever be of assistance in that, I would love to, and tackle those kinds of issues. Thank you. And then, of course, something that seems almost as if it's not new science, anything, so to speak, is that, of course, you have your long-term, your ELs and student populations that are of a lower economic standings that are obviously going to have problems with, getting to school. And so I like, whatever, that you're tackling the non-stability and the issues of economic, instability for these particular families. And I was just wondering, is there something more in depth maybe down the road that we're looking at, maybe thinking of doing there?
I'm happy to share with you for those that I think that you're identifying, those are our equity multiplier goals.
Right.
I didn't review those in depth, but I'm happy to share them with you since they're more site specific.
Yeah, be happy to, learn about that too, and then, bounce off ideas or anything, because like you say, sometimes one particular plan might work in one particular area and may not work in another area so much. But outside of that, a wonderful presentation. I was quite happy to see it this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Horace?
Yeah, I appreciate your report. I really want to address the bullying aspect on this report. I know that we talk about that in the district, about bullying, there's no room for it. But if our students are saying that they're still having a problem with it, then there's a problem. So and then of course, parents are letting us know as well. So I want to know exactly, specifically, what is going to be being done. I see it in here and it's like, we're going to address the bullying situation. I'm glad that parents are talking about it and the students are talking about it. But I think that really, I agree with the math and everything else, but our students can't learn if they don't feel safe in their schools. So that, to me, I think needs to be a priority, is about the bullying. So I really appreciate the report.
Thank you, Brooke. I don't have any comments for you. I know we've talked before, and you know how much I appreciate what you do with LCAP. But to piggyback off of Ms. Porras, I think what's important, and I've brought this up to the superintendent on multiple occasions, if we are providing some sort of education about bullying or whatever it may be, if it's not working, then we need to change it. So just reevaluating the systems that we have in place.
On the equity multiplier, I noticed that Madison was the only elementary school on this one.
That's correct.
What are the funds being utilized for at Madison?
So I can go, do you want me, is it okay if okay. So for next year, the funds are going to be used to provide for ELD support, specifically to ensure that they have a full-time ELD ITC, the instructional coach that will be working with the staff on embedding strategies as well as students. And they are also utilizing the funds for an additional teacher in order to lower the class sizes.
Okay. And the coach position, ELD coach, in the classroom modeling supporting students
Yeah, the
and
ELD,
teachers with PDE.
yeah, the ELD ITC coach will be there full-time. And so that person will be modeling the lessons, they'll be working with teachers, doing the coaching cycles, ensuring that the strategies are aligned across all of their grade levels.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Anything further from anyone? Okay. Going on to 16.2, proposed 2026-2027 budget. Mr. Aquino.
So tonight, I'm proposing to the board the 2026-27 budget. As you know, the governor of the state of California proposes the 26-27 budget for the state. And then in May, there's a May revision based on tax collections. So they know, kind of have a better idea as to how much revenues the state is earning, and then they could forecast their budget a little bit more accurately. And because of that, I always thought that the May revision, when the May revision comes out, it comes with a cover sheet on it. And it's kind of a messaging of tales, a tale, right? Because in 21-22, that was on the heels of the pandemic. So, you know, that was a balance of returning back to in-person instruction, addressing the pandemic. In 22-23, that was a massive budget year where the governor was proposing a $300 billion budget. So you have this silhouette where they're shining in the sun and it's a return back to some normalcy. And then in 23-24, that was the massive COLA growth year. So you have these tall trees, 8.24% COLA, but then the road kind of turns. And the state was forecasting at that time, hey, we need to be a little bit more careful about how we're moving forward because there might be some difficult roads down in the future. Following that, in 24-25, this picture is like a rocky kind of a path in the Yosemite Valley. That was the year where the state was facing a deficit in the budget year, in the 23-24 budget year, and in the two subsequent years. So that was kind of a rocky budget time. 25-26 really is just a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of things, addressing affordability, accountability, kind of has this tech green representation, California green initiatives. And then comes the 26-27 May revision. And that's what we're going to talk about right now is how the May revision impacts the budget. And I feel like the cover is a little bit telling because it's a year where the state is addressing this deficit. You got this low-angled picture of what looks like potentially like a White House Capitol building with all the white column, with the columns on there from the building, the California flag, and it's a triumphant return to some normalcy and stability, maybe extending beyond California. So I think there's a lot of messaging in that cover with this recent May revision. Now, the economy from January budget to May, there has been significant investments in AI. And that AI, those AI investments, a lot of these companies, nobody wants to stay behind the AI curve, so they're pumping so much cash into infrastructure. And what that's doing is boosting up tech stocks and a lot of capital gains from those tech stocks because the value of them are so high. And so California has a high GDP, but it's interesting at the same time that the unemployment rate in the state of California is trailing the nation. The unemployment rate in California is 4.4%, or I'm sorry, the rest of the nation is 4.4%, and in California it's 5.4%. And California is essentially in this hiring freeze, not necessarily in healthcare and education, but in the rest of the parts. And that's because they're pumping all the cash, available cash that they have into this infrastructure. So, you know, you'd think that all this tech investments is increasing, you know, white collar job growth where their unemployment rate would be reduced, but it's really not. And then the other thing that we're facing, I think, as a school district and as a state is the oil shock and energy crisis. Right now we're using reserves, oil reserves, in order to keep things going, which I think the forecast for if we were to keep maintaining this based on the current path, it's the end of September where a lot of those oil reserves will get used down. So it's essentially creating kind of some normalcy into the budget. But once that hits, and oil is a derivative of so many other things that we rely on, there could potentially be a trickle-down effect and an inflation, an effect in inflation on the rest of the economy. So that's just a quick little summary about how that potentially can impact schools. Under the May revision, again, the state is projecting significant personal income growth. That's why when we were talking last January, we weren't forecasting, we were forecasting a 2.3% COLA, and the funding isn't what it is today. Now that COLA has gone up to 2.87. He's augmented that, called it a super COLA. I don't like necessarily referring to it that way. But that personal income growth comes in the form of a lot of capital gains because the state of California looks at capital gains as regular income, right? So there's a lot of volatility there, a lot of uncertainty, so things that we got to be a little bit careful of. The other thing is the governor shored up existing programs. So he didn't add money to new programs. He basically funded all the existing ones, and that is to address the ongoing deficit because it shows that the state's budget has a lot of fiscal stability, and so a lot of that is just the messaging is, that the state is taking care of its business. In addition to that, as we referred to the super COLA, again, said it the same thing I don't want to keep saying, but that was an augmentation from 2.87%, which is what the COLA is for moving into next year, up to 1.44%. And that comes with a caveat, and the governor said, we're going to increase the LCFF formula, but in addition to that, I'm proposing that we pay for paid pregnancy disability leave. Because right now, somebody could take, I think it's about 14 or 16 weeks, but you got to utilize your own leaves. This would be an additional cost to the school district if that were to go into effect, where the school district would cover that cost. And so that comes in the tune of, if we estimate low, as around $900,000, and if we think that everyone will potentially utilize that leave, it could go up to $1.2 to $1.8 million. So, we're not sure where that could potentially go. And then this is a historic year for funding in special education. It's a 40% increase than what it's ever been. And so we're going to show you what the effect of that revenue is on the district's budget. So here again, this is the cost of living adjustment. Just want to show you it in the form of dollars. We always talk percentages, but really we want to focus on, what is the number that we're getting? And it's about $11 million for the 26-27 year.
We're going 4 years into the future. I heard the district will lose $22 million. I need to see if they can maintain 1.21 gigawatts.
I just added the 1.21, I thought was funny. So if you were to travel from Washington all the way to the highway, California 183, to the interstate over in Louisiana at 310, pass through Texas all the way to New Mexico at 380, you would lose $22 million. So those numbers, or those highway signs, represent the amount of students that we have lost in the previous 4 years, which translates into a significant amount of money when you're considering that each student represents a potential $15,000 to $16,000. And so we've done a lot of examples before, and I'll just do it again here, where if you were to use a hypothetical 3% COLA, we would get an additional, from a funding perspective, an additional $450 per student. But if you lose one student, you lose $15,000. So you would hope that at some point that COLA, with the accumulation of all the number of students you have, will offset that decline. And to explain that a little further, here's just another chart that shows the decline in the years. We're averaging right now about a 1.5% decline. And that 22-23 year, when we lost about 525 students, because we're funded on a 3-year average, that decline has really impacted us for these past 3 years. And you're going to see the effect of that. And so in 24-25, we had a 1.07% COLA. because we lost so many kids that year, and we've lost many kids in the previous years. We've been declining enrollment districts since, I think, 2014. Even with the COLA, we received $8.8 million less that year. In the following year, we got a 2.3% COLA. Despite the decline in enrollment, we had an increase of $1.8 million. And then next year, we're forecasting about $11.1 million based on the 2.87% COLA and then the 1.44 augmentation that we'll be utilizing if the paid pregnancy disability leave passes through the budget. Now, one caveat to that, where it's different from an assembly bill versus when it's proposed in a budget, an assembly bill action, if it's an emergency, takes effect as soon as it's approved. If it's done through an approval through the voters, it usually takes effect January 1, but through a government act, through the budget proposal, it would take effect if it's approved immediately. So that would be an expense that we would incur. We always talk about this, the step and column portion. Inherently, our salary schedules have built-in increases to them. And so every year we calculate, well, what is it going to cost? Because we know, Johnny or Susie was on step A, they're going to go to B, or they're going to go to step 1 or step 2 or step 18, whatever that number is. We know what those numbers are moving into the next year. So that is a cost to the district. In addition to that, we've given compensation increases. Right? We're working on the heels of having a good fund balance in this district. Through the planning through the board, planning through administrative staff, we've done a good job of balancing the COLA and the influx of monies, making sure we could maintain personnel in the district. And so I want to just show you the impact of the step and column and the compensation increases and how that affects ongoing dollars throughout the budget. Now, initially, when we were talking a couple months ago, we were forecasting a higher deficit than that 4.8 that we're projecting right now on the unrestricted side. And that is because the taxes and the revenues that we're receiving from the state of California are now a lot higher than we were anticipating, particularly the increase through special education, which is approximately $7 million next year. So here's a multi-year projection of our unrestricted side of the budget. It's the one that everyone wants to hone in on. One caveat I just want to go back real quick to show is on this slide. We're not sure in the 26-27 year. We know we're receiving $11 million more. We know that we are going to spend 5.3 on step and column. We have given this year $6.59 million on compensation, which includes a multi-year agreement through DSTA, a 26-27 settlement with the management and confidential, and we are in open negotiations with CSCA now. So that chart is going to go a little higher, plus the paid pregnancy disability leave on top of that. I show the restricted side because I feel like that's just a compliance issue. I want to make sure I show all parts of the general fund. So if you're interested and have any questions, please feel free to ask. The May revision and effects, again, just to summarize, we have a 2.87% COLA. We have a 1.44 augmentation of that to help pay for a proposal for paid pregnancy disability. We are projecting next year a 380 student decline. And so I believe last year we declined a little over 300 students. And then in the out year, the governor is budgeting, again, another one-time dollar discretion, which we've constantly used as a balancing act in this district to make sure that we could fund existing personnel that were hired through the COVID pandemic. And it's not a surprise to anybody, and you look all over the state of California, everyone's laying everybody off. And that's because it's really hard to make those balances when the state says, hey, here's $180 million, which is what we received, and you got to augment services for students to mitigate learning loss. And what are you going to do with that? You don't buy supplies with that. We're hiring staff to make those impacts on our kids. And so we have to find a way to balance that with when those funds are expiring, and they have expired. And so for this purposes of this budget, and I want to make it really clear, we are not currently budgeting that one-time discretionary proposal that the state is proposing right now. Until we know for sure that it's going to happen, they're not going to claw it back, then we're going to figure out how we could weave that into the general fund. And then with special ed, we're receiving a historic increase, which is a very well-welcomed increase despite all the great efforts under the Student Support Services Division. We are now receiving an additional $7 million. Now, I want to explain that $7 million because that $7 million is helping us reduce what our contribution is to the special education funding, right? Because it's inefficient to support the needs that we have for our kids. The needs that we have for our kids exceed, in the 25-26 year, we are projecting that we are going to spend 41 more million dollars than we get from both the federal government and the state. And that does not include the cost of transportation, which has its own line item expense. I think it's like around another $12 million. Don't quote me on that. But there's a transportation added component to it. That's not represented here. But with that $7 million, it is going to drop that contribution by $35 million, which is going to ultimately pump up the rest of the general fund. That's why that deficit has been reduced. And to address, just to show you the impact on the increasing needs that we have for students in our district, I just want to show you that $7 million is a very welcomed $7 million because over the previous 5 to 6, 7 years, our needs for our students have increased, and we've had to match that with increases in both our classified and certificated staff. And so this just shows you, it's just a chart that shows you where those increases are on just a strictly staffing perspective. And I didn't realize there was music at this part. So any questions? That was it.
Like the show. I've always heard that on the federal side with special ed, they've never fully funded. Like there's a certain percentage they're supposed to fund, and they've funded like 10 or 15%. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd have to look to see what the exact percentage is, but that number has really been memorialized at some point in time based on whenever that was developed and looked at the students as a snapshot. And then once that snapshot was taken, regardless of the number of students any district has had, it's just been augmented by giving percentage increases. So you could have had a 100% increase in your students with needs population. The funding would not have reflected that. It would have reflected like inflationary adjustments.
So do you think with all the information that's coming from the administration, about like cutting all different departments, is that why the state stepped up and added more funding on their end? I mean, how much of the funding have they always been the state been giving to us for special ed?
So we haven't seen any decreases in our IDA funding through the special ed program, but what I think you're referring to is the federal government's, they weren't funding, I believe it was Medi-Cal, and so something to that effect with healthcare, where the state had to pump in more money to provide the services that the state wanted to provide for the same population of
okay.
individuals.
Well, I think that us providing that $7 million is a great need, and glad to see that part. But thank you for your presentation. It always takes me a little while to digest it all, but I appreciate it. You're making it more understandable to the layperson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jordan. Obviously, an informative and entertaining presentation. I always love it. Two things. Obviously, the enrollment has been dropping for a long time, and that's a systemic problem across the state. Two kind of bold questions. Is there ever a time that we may consider consolidating sites? That'd be one question. And the second question, which is probably not a part of this report, but part of a philosophy I was wondering if you've heard. The state is funded on personal income taxes, basically. And
60% of the state's budget.
A lot of it is. And then we have lots of people that come to our state, live here, born here, possibly work, leave, and that money that leaves the state does not get taxed. Now, I've heard, but I'm not sure, have you heard anything going on about them possibly taxing that money?
So I don't believe that's been finalized yet. I think that's being challenged, depending on when those larger companies left the state. Because I think it was 3 out of the big 5 tech companies that left to like Texas. But I think the state's assumption is that because they're the hub of technological growth, that they will still receive the same levels of income because the tech is a boom and those companies are developing from the state of California. I believe that's what the Governor Newsom has said on different interviews, but don't quote me on that. But I know I think that's being a challenged thing right now, because if you left mid-state on whether or not you were going to pay a tax.
And what about on the individual part? For example, say I retired, I take off and I go to Arizona, and then I get my money sent there and it doesn't pay a state tax, correct?
Yeah, so I think the state would be less concerned with a majority of the population, because 1% of the highest income earners in the state of California make up 50% of all the income taxes. Right, and so, whether it be Susie, Joe, Sally leaving the state, it's the real crux is, those top earners and what are they doing? Right.
Okay, that's it. And then, I like the COLA for the coming year, but I would just say, for one, that it's with some skepticism, because AI could, anytime. I'm just a kind of a funny with the last time when the .com, I read an article that the 2 teams in the NBA final were the Knicks and the Spurs. And the Knicks and the Spurs are in the final again. So it's just kind of an odd, now we're dealing with AI versus the tech bubble at the time. So anyway.
I believe the .com took about a 4-year development, which happened in the 99-2000 era.
Right.
When it first started in 95, I think, is when all that happened, and then the crash in the late 90s.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again.
My whole thing was about I'm glad that we got $7 million for SPED, but yeah, it's always been underfunded, like by 40%. They've never fully funded them. So, it's a nice drop in the bucket, thanks, but they still need to do more. But, anyway, thanks.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you and your expertise. I just want to reiterate something said at probably the same exact meeting last year, is that ever since I've been on this board, we're functioning in a deficit. Yes. So, yeah.
For sure this year we are hitting a deficit this year.
So my concern, which we have discussed as a board and with cabinet numerous times, is making appropriate cuts in appropriate time frame. I don't want my name attached to a bunch of our staff members being laid off. So I trust your judgment in all the appropriate steps that we need to take to make sure that that doesn't happen.
No questions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. 17.1, public hearing. 17.1, public hearing number 07/2025-2026, Palm Desert Charter Middle School petition. Tonight, the board will take action on the Palm Desert Charter Middle School renewal petition. The district received the renewal petition from the charter school to renew the charter for a 5-year term. On May 19th, 2026, this board held a public hearing regarding the provisions of the renewal petition and to gauge the public's response to the charter school proposal and to consider the level of support from district teachers, other district employees, and parents. The board has received the staff report. We will now hear from staff regarding its recommendation, and then Palm Desert Charter Middle School will be provided with equal time to address the board regarding the staff recommendations and findings. We will now hear from district staff and then from charter school. Let's go with district staff.
Yes, thank you, President Alvarez, board and cabinet. Palm Desert Charter Middle School is a long-standing and successful dependent charter school. The school is designated by CDE as a high-performing charter and is entitled to a presumption the renewal will be granted. This designation is based on the school's academic performance. District staff has worked with PDCMS to bring the charter document up to date and to ensure compliance with the law. The school has been very collaborative and agreed to the district's requested revisions to its charter and student handbook. The school is requesting a 5-year term through June 30th, 2031. It is staff's recommendation that the renewal be approved for a 5-year term running July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2031.
Okay, we'll now hear from our charter school principal.
Good evening, school board members, superintendent and cabinet, and also Dr. May Vollmer. Thank you for providing open communication this year as we worked on our charter renewal. Thank you for giving our students the opportunity to come and share at this very location. And thank you for giving our staff the opportunity and our families to give input throughout this entire process. Tonight, as we look forward to the potential renewal of our charter, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the Desert Sands District and the many individuals who have guided and supported us throughout the process. Our team at Palm Desert Charter Middle School has worked tirelessly to update our charter documents, finalizing them in conformity with the changes requested by the district. We are pleased to have such a great working relationship with the district. Our students are successful because of the strong partnerships we share and because of the great staff that we have. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the district review team and to the Palm Desert Charter School for the information and documentation you have provided. At this time, do we have any questions from the board? We'll start with Ms. Pierce.
I have none.
Thank you. Duran?
I have none.
Ms. Porras? Dr. Watson? Okay, neither do I. I will now open the public hearing at 8:37. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Sure.
You need my paper? Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Patricia Ryan. I am, I guess, a senior staff member at Palm Desert Middle. I've been there since its Palm Desert Charter. I have been coming to board meetings since I moved to this district from McFarland, California. And I've been coming to a meeting at least once a year. I've come to a board meeting every single year since 1992. So I've seen, and some people have come back around, but I have been, I appreciate all you guys do for our school, our students. I really love our district. I really love our school. I love our community. My husband's in agriculture. And so like the last board meeting was like my two worlds colliding. But I just want to say we have so many great things going on, so many great things in this district. And I want to thank the board because a few years ago, for me coming to all these meetings and just being an active person in the community, I do really promote Desert Sands. I mean, my 3 kids graduated from these schools and they're doing well in their real life world. which we're very proud of as parents, but I think the schools, we see so many students. But I do want to remind the board that the board is the ultimate responsibility here. And maybe tonight might be a good night to look at that when you're looking at our school later in the meeting. And just think about how deeply each school staff member really cares about our particular school, Palm Desert Charter Middle School. We became a converted charter to continue our success that the district already had for us. It was a very high achieving school, and we wanted to continue with electives. But we do a lot of things outside working hours, and we want to. I mean, that is, and there's a core group, and everybody pitches in. But people come to a few of us as senior staff members, and it's hard at times. I do feel like it's a challenge to balance it with everything going on and trying to be the best support for students and the best support for staff, especially our newer staff. I'm sitting next to somebody who's newer to our school, and I'm like, oh, I didn't talk for the first 10 years at anything. So, you know, we get those, you know, people come to you eventually because of the history of the school, the love of the school district, and how we want everybody to achieve, because I believe when parents and staff and students work together, just great things happen. I see that every year. That's the first thing I say at back to school night. And we appreciate your support. We're looking for it in lots of ways, and the board is the ultimate, like, they're the ultimate ones tonight in different things regarding our school, and we hope you kind of consider that. As we're here for staff for our school, and I've been to the last couple board meetings and listening to those kids talk. Some programs were mentioned where staff members have been impacted by rumors and things, and you know, it just shows how much our students really love and love our school too. The parents love our school, but sometimes retaliation is real, and it's been hard. And it's hard to speak up at times. I know I felt it during COVID. I was speaking up, and I had to come directly to the board and ask for protection. And you guys, the board, it wasn't all the same members, but you guys had my back and protected me for just having the right to speak, because I do care a lot. I mean, again, and Roke knows all these people, a few people know, I have sat over in Indio at that board, you know, room over there with some of you. But I really do just want to emphasize how much we appreciate the support you guys have given us. We look forward to many, many more years. I mean, I'm going to be gone in a few years probably, but I still am going to be coming to these board meetings because I just like them. My husband's like, why are you there again? But I do like them, and I want to commit to, and I hope you guys can commit to us too. Thank you.
Thank you. The public hearing at 8:42. Is there a motion to adopt the staff report and recommendations and findings and approve the Palm Desert Charter School renewal petition for a 5-year term beginning July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2031?
So moved, Porras.
Second, Watson.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Nope, motion carries 5-0. Item 17.2, public hearing number 08/2025-2026, International Baccalaureate of Psychology textbook adoption. I will now open the public hearing at 8:43. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing at 8:44. Item 17.3. Hold on. There. Okay. 17.3, public hearing number 09 slash 2025-26, International Bachelorette Sports Exercise Textbook Adoption. I will now open the public hearing at 8:44. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Okay, I will now close the hearing at 8:45. Item 17.4, public hearing number 10/2025-2026, Local Control and Accountability Plan. I will now open the public hearing at 8:45. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Okay, I will now close the public hearing at 8:46. Item 17.5, public hearing number 11-4/2025-2026, 2026-2027, budget adoption. I will now open the public hearing at 8:46. Is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Okay, I will now close the hearing at 8:47. Going on to item 18, General Functions Business Services. There are 5 items. Items 18.1, 18.2, and 18.3 are resolutions, therefore needing a roll call vote. Is there a motion to approve item 18.1, resolution number 18/2025-2026, declaring the futility of public bidding for changes in kitchen renovation work and approving change order number 01 for 890/22F DEC Central Kitchen Renovation Project?
So moved, Pierce.
Is there a second? Second, Porras. Any discussion? Hearing now, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Pierce?
Aye.
Mr. Duran?
Aye.
Ms. Porras?
Aye.
Dr. Watson? Aye. Mr. Alvarez, and I'm an aye. Is there a motion to approve item 18.2, resolution number 19/2025-2026, authorization for the Education Protection Account spending plan? Porras, is there a second?
Second, Duran.
Duran. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote of Ms. Pierce.
Aye.
Mr. Duran.
Aye.
Ms. Porras. Aye. Dr. Watson. Aye. I'm an aye. Okay, is there a motion to approve item 18.3, resolution number 20/2025-2026, authorization to commit unspent supplemental and concentration grant fund balances?
So moved, Duran.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Pierce.
Pierce. Any discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Pierce?
Aye.
Mr. Duran?
Aye.
Ms. Porras?
Aye.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. Is there a motion to take items 18.4 and 18.5 as a group or individually?
As a group, Porras.
Is there a second?
Second, Duran.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 19, General Functions, Educational Services. There are 27 items. Is there a motion to take these items as a group or individually?
Group Porras.
Second, Pierce.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Item 20, General Functions, Personnel Services. There are 3 items. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
Take them as a group. Motion, Pierce.
Second, Porras.
Porras. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Item 21, General Functions, Student Support Services. There are 2 items. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
Motion as a group, Pierce.
Second, Duran.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, item 22, General Functions, Superintendent. There are 4 items. Item 22.1 is a resolution, therefore needing a roll call vote. Is there a motion to approve item 22.1, resolution number 21/2025-2026, order of election?
I'll make a motion, Pierce.
Pierce,
Second,
is there a
Duran.
second?
Second, Duran.
Duran. Any discussion? None. Roll call vote, Ms. Pierce? Mr. Duran?
Aye.
Ms. Porras?
Aye.
Dr. Watson? And I'm an aye. Is there a motion to take items 22.2 through 22.4 as a group or individually?
Motion as a group, Pierce.
Is there a second?
Second, Duran.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Item 23, consent items, student matters, Dr. May Vollmer.
Yes, tonight in closed session, the board took action on the following student matters. Stipulated expulsion case number 25/26-39 on a motion made by trustee Dr. Watson and seconded by trustee Porras. The motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation. Expulsion case number 25/26-44 on a motion made by trustee Dr. Watson and seconded by trustee Porras. The motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation of the hearing panel. Expulsion case number 25/26-48 on a motion made by trustee Dr. Watson, seconded by trustee Porras. The motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation of the hearing panel. And that's all.
Item 24, consent items, business services. There are 16 items. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
Group Porras.
Second, Watson.
Watson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Item 25, consent items, educational services. There are 12 items. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
Porras.
Second, Pierce.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 26, consent items, personnel services, no items. Item 27, consent items, student support services. There are 4 items. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
Motion as a group, Pierce.
Is there a second? I'll be a second.
Second, Duran.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries 5-0. Consent item, superintendent, no items. Item 29.1, personnel action, certificated. Dr. Hyde, do we have any retirements?
Yes, sir. I'm pleased to announce that we have 2 retirements. Sherry Gunlack, who's retiring from La Quinta Middle School after 37 years of service to Desert Sands. And then Joseph Wallace, who's retiring from La Quinta High School. He's retiring from Desert Sands after 29 years of service. So kudos to both of these folks. 66 combined years of service to the families and the staff of Desert Sands. So well done.
Is there a motion to approve item 29.1?
Motion, Porras.
Is there a second?
Done.
Well, I'm going to pull item 17, please. For individual.
What? You can pull it.
I'm going to pull it so that we can vote on it individually.
Second.
Can you tell us what that is?
For Corey Fitzpatrick.
Got it. Okay. And seconded by Dr. Watson. Any discussion?
The reason why I want to pull it is because I feel that we need to, before a transfer is approved, we need to see what's been done with current administration. I don't feel comfortable with it right now because of what's been said and what's gone on with it, so I don't feel comfortable with it being decided tonight.
So you want to do a separate vote for that one?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so we'll take the rest of them. We'll be voting on item 17 separately. So we'll take the first group first. So.
I'd like to say something on the first group.
Yes, sir.
All right, because I did work with Sherry Gunlock, so I just wanted to say congratulations to her. I've known her for most of those 37 years, and I'm going to really miss her, and I just wanted her to know that in case she's watching at home. But at the end of the day, she's been an incredible addition to the team here at Desert Sands Unified School District, so I'm going to miss her. And congratulations to her and all the other, retiree and all the other people. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Congratulations for making it to the finish line.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none. Okay, so at this time, we're going to, So at this time, we're going to vote on the first part, and we're taking the second one that Ms. Porras brought forth to us separately.
Right.
Got it. Okay, so let's take a vote on the first one.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, the motion.
Yeah, there's already a motion in a second. So.
Yeah, so right now, we're just doing all the other ones except the Fitzpatrick one.
Right.
So
we already did all the other ones.
We
haven't voted on it yet.
We haven't voted.
Oh,
we have to
okay.
vote
Okay,
on the retirements is what
So,
we're talking
so do we have an aye? Aye.
I'm a no.
Everybody, aye. Aye.
I'm a no for the other ones.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Everything but 17.
Yes.
So everything as a group, everything in 29.1 except for 17, I'm a no.
She voted no. Can you vote, Ms. Pierce? Do you understand what you're voting on?
Yes,
So I can
I'm
reiterate
voting
it?
on the bulk of the
Yes.
personnel except for item 17.
Thank you, ma'am.
I vote yes, I'm to passing that.
Got it, thank you. I'm an aye.
Aye.
Aye. So 4-1. Okay. Now we're going to vote on the Fitzpatrick. So go ahead, Ms. Pierce. Yes, she motioned.
We already did.
Yeah.
It was Porras and
Yeah.
Right.
a motion on that one. So we're ready to vote. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Are you voting yes? Yes.
Yes, so by voting aye, you're saying that you approve him being transferred.
I'm going to abstain.
Yeah, I'm abstaining too.
I'm abstaining.
Yeah, I'm abstaining.
Abstaining? 5-0. Okay, going on. Item 30.1, personnel actions classified. Dr. Hyde, do we have any retirements?
Yes, we do. We actually have 4 retirements. And again, these are employees that have a long track record in the district of service. So first and foremost, Tommy Mestis, who's in graphic services, is retiring after 26 years of service. We have Katerina Moran, who's actually in our personnel services office. She's also retiring after 29 years of service to the district. I'd also like to recognize Jose Tamayo from early childhood education. He's retiring after 29 years of service. And last but certainly not least is Maria Tamayo, who's retiring from La Quinta Middle School after 18 years of service. So combined, these 4 employees have 102 years of service to the families of Desert Sands. So kudos to all of them. Congratulations.
I make a motion to accept.
Second, Watson.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I just want to say congratulations to everyone, but especially to Katerina. She's been a friend of mine for several years here, and I'm excited for her retirement, for you to enjoy your babies and grandbabies and do whatever you want. So enjoy your retirement, Katerina.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Item 31, call out of closed session action items. Dr. May Vollmer.
Yes, tonight in closed session, the board took action to approve the following matters. General Release and Settlement Agreement SSS number 13/2025-2026. On a motion made by Trustee Dr. Watson and seconded by Trustee Porras, the motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation. General Release and Settlement Agreement SSS number 14/2025-2026. On a motion made by Trustee Dr. Watson and seconded by Trustee Porras, the motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation. And General Release and Settlement Agreement SSS number 15/2025-2026. On a motion made by Trustee Dr. Watson, seconded by Trustee Porras, the motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation.
Item 32, suggestions for future agendas that receive at least 3 votes. Ms. Pierce?
I don't have an agenda item, but I would like to, hopefully in the Friday letter, get an update on the handling of the student matter that was brought up at Franklin. I'm very concerned about it and would like to see why things weren't answered, emails and feedback and things.
I have nothing for this evening, but thank you.
I don't have agenda items, but I do want to make some comments about things. The mom that talked about the student and summer school, this is actually on my list to talk to you about. This isn't the first parent that I've heard about in the last week regarding summer school and that need to be failing classes in order to qualify for summer school. And I think that there's definitely a better approach there, which goes back to also IEP and 504 supports that are happening at secondary. And I think that there's always room for improvement there. But thank you for coming. 2, listening to public comments, we had 2 comments that talked about investigations. I have serious concerns about how we're investigating things and how everything seems to come up unsustained or not supported. So I would like to see, especially in the case with Franklin, another investigation. I don't know who's going to do that, but again, to reiterate, if we're teaching our kids not to bully and what we're teaching isn't working, then we need to do better, and I hear that. Last is, I want to reiterate something that I've brought to the superintendent's attention before, is, to me, what I think is common sense, but admins, the importance of communication. answering emails from concerned parents because I've been on the other side. I am a parent. It's not a suggestion.
I have none. Item 33, announcements. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be June 23rd, 2026 in the District Education Boardroom, 47-950 Dune Palms Road, La Quinta, California, 92253. Item 34, we will not be reconvening into closed session. Item 35, adjournment. This meeting is adjourned at 9:05 p.m.